I don't know. I'm good. Am I good now?
You're live right now. And then all you gotta do is just hit that, and you'll be there. You go. So that everybody can hear you right now.
Shalom, Yahweh Ba'Shem Shabbat Thumb, Yahweh Shemar Thah, Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. This is the Israelite School UPK coming out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. And this is a Thursday scripture breakdown class in Isupk, Arizona. You understand? We are out here waking up the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, God's people, back to their identity. Since 1969, we have been doing this work, and we will continue until our King Christ, a.k.a. Yahweh Shai Mashiach, comes back to save us from our oppressors. You understand? With that being said, let me get Matthew 5:17. A lot of you Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans don't understand that the Bible is a real book. It's not a fantasy book. It's not some book It's not some book you can read just to make you feel better, just to give you wisdom. You understand? The Bible is written by men of God.
Right.
You understand? The Bible was written by men of God, and you have to obey the words of God because you are His chosen people.
That's right.
You are the 12 tribes of Israel that the Bible speaks of. You understand? Let me get Exodus 3:10.
Come on, sir. The book of Exodus, chapter 3, verse 10. Come now, therefore.
What did the Most High say?
Come now, therefore.
The Most High God spoke to our forefather Moses, and he said, "Come now, therefore." Go ahead.
And I will send thee up unto Pharaoh.
And I will send thee unto Pharaoh. Who's Pharaoh? Pharaoh was the oppressor of the so-called blacks. Was our oppressor back in those days. The same way America and the so-called Edomites are oppressors today. Guess what? Our oppressor back then was Pharaoh. The Lord told Moses, "Go unto Pharaoh." Go ahead.
Come, that thou mayest bring forth my people.
That what?
Thou mayest bring forth my people.
The Lord said that you may bring forth my people. Go unto Pharaoh, go into Egypt, that you may bring my people, bring forth my people. That's possessive. God has a chosen people on the earth. Go ahead.
The children.
The who?
The children.
The children. Go ahead.
Of Israel.
Meaning those who descend from Israel. Israel was a descendant of Isaac. Isaac was a descendant of Abraham. You understand? Abraham comes from Noah. Noah comes from Adam. We come from that lineage. We are the children of Israel. That's what we're called, Israelites. Israelites.
Right.
It's not talking about a piece of land. We're not Israelis. You understand? We are Israelites.
Right.
And that's what we are today. We're not Black, Latinos, and Native Americans. Why do we say that? Because that's what you know yourself as today. But we are the children of Israel, man, the descendants of Israel. And God told Moses, "Go take my people out of Egypt. Go. I'm gonna send you here so you can go and take my people out of here." You understand? Go ahead.
That thou mayest bring forth my people, the children of Israel.
The what?
The children of Israel.
The children of Israel, man. Go ahead.
Out of Egypt.
Out of Egypt. Go ahead.
And Moses said unto God, "Who am I that I should go unto Pharaoh, and that I should bring forth the children of Israel out of Egypt?"
See, that Moses was weak, like a lot of you brothers are, like a lot of you Black and Hispanics are, man. You see the power of America. You see how much dominance America has over the world and how much they've oppressed you. And you question, how in the hell can I go against America? I'm going to call myself an American. I'm going to get my ID. I'm going to get my passport. I'm going to make money in America, and I'm an American. You're not a goddamn American, man. You're a goddamn slave.
Right.
And you're a goddamn coward because you don't want to stand with your people, man. You understand? And that's the problem with us, man. And that was Moses. Moses could not understand how he was going to save Black and Hispanics from Egypt because Egypt was so powerful. And that's us today, man. We're so destroyed. We're so weak. We don't know that we have a God more powerful than all the damn technology and weapons that the U.S. military has. And he can do something like split the sea for us to help us escape our enemies in times of death. And that's us, man. He said, "Who am I to go tell Pharaoh to free my brothers and sisters?" In other words, he's saying, I mean, it's impossible. Go ahead.
Right. Verse 12. And he said, certainly, I will be with thee.
Most High said, man, I'm going to be with you. Don't even worry about none of that. Go ahead.
And this shall be a token unto thee, that I have sent thee, when thou hast brought forth the people out of Egypt.
And what the UPK is doing it in the earth, that should be a sign for you, for our brothers and sisters, man.
Right.
We didn't take people off of drugs, off of crack, off of heroin, sisters out of a terrible state in their lives, depression, anxiety, schizophrenia, homelessness, and we changed them into men of God, sister princesses of God, man. Right. You're looking at one. You understand? You're looking at someone who was in hell and was brought out of that hell and made new again.
Right.
Us being in here should be a sign to you, brothers and sisters out there, that this is the Most High's work. You understand? The Most High is allowing this to happen because we're doing it through His power, man, through His will, through what He wants. You understand?
Right.
And this is the sign. This the same way the Most High gave Moses a sign. He's giving you a sign today, man. This is it right here. This should be a sign for you, because every other Black movement, Hispanic movement has failed. Why? Because they didn't have God on their side. And we're gonna let me get Revelations 11:8. We're gonna prove to you real quick that Egypt today, that America is Egypt. You understand? America follows the same system of oppression that Egypt followed, because they have in slavery the same people that Egypt had in slavery. The Israelites, Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans.
Right.
Go ahead and read that, all right?
Book of Revelations 11:8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city.
You see that? And their bodies shall lie in the streets of that great city. That's talking about us. We're the ones being put to death in America in various ways. Police brutality, abortion.
Right.
You understand? Gang violence, prison, drugs. All these things is fulfilling this prophecy. And their dead bodies shall lie in the streets of that great city. What is the great city? Let's find out. Keep going.
Which spiritually is called Sodom.
The city that is spiritually called Sodom. Why? Because in America, guess what? The spirit of America is LGBTQ.
Right.
All types of madness, all types of sexual deviance going on in America. This is spiritual Sodom, man. Go ahead.
And Egypt.
And Egypt. Why? Because in Egypt, we were in slavery. We just read that. The Israelites were in slavery. And guess what? We're slavery in America. America is Egypt, and it's also Sodom spiritually. You understand? Keep going.
Where also our Lord was crucified.
You see that? And this is where the Most High was crucified, man. You understand? Under the oppressor. Let me get Exodus 20:2.
Come. Book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 2. I am the Lord thy God.
The Most High said, I'm your God. Our God is the God in this Bible. Our God is not any other God of any other religion, man. Our God is the God in the Bible. Go ahead.
Which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt.
And he's the one who brought us out of the land of Egypt. What land of Egypt? When we were in Egypt and Moses freed us, which is what we just read earlier. He's the one who brought us out of Egypt. So in America, who's going to take us out of America? Who can take us out of America? The Most High can. You understand? It don't matter how much money we got, how much land we own. None of that matters. If you're not serving the Most High God, you're going to fail. You're going to fail because the Lord is not with you. You can side with the oppressor as much as you want. You can have all the things in the world, man. You can be rich. You can be on top of the world. You can own banks. You can whatever you want. The Most High is not going to allow you to free his people. You're not the boss. You understand? The Most High is the boss.
That's right.
You understand?
Right.
I don't give a damn who you are, how much money you got. None of that, man. You are not going to free your people without siding with the Most High. He's the goddamn boss. Go ahead.
Out of the house of bondage.
Out of the house of bondage. Why are we in slavery? Because we don't want to turn to the Most High. Because we're selfish, man. We're a selfish people. And we lack the Most High. If we follow the Most High, we would not be selfish.
Right.
You understand? If we kept the laws in the Bible, we would not be selfish. We would love our brothers as ourselves. we would be a totally different people. But we're weak. We're weak to the grasp that America has on our minds. You understand? We don't even realize we're under a demonic possession.
Right.
This is not who we are, man. We're not gangbangers and drug dealers and, you know, men who smoke weed and men who steal, men who, you know, just men who are against the Most High. Sisters are not strippers. We're not meant to be strippers. We're not meant to be anything. None of these things that go against the laws of our God. That's not us. That's not who we are. You understand? And those police officers who killed that brother, they were under demonic possession, beating that brother up because you were beating up yourself.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
And that's how you know we're in bondage. Let me get Isaiah 31:1.
Come. Book of Isaiah, chapter 31, verse 1. Woe unto them that go down to Egypt for help.
If you're wondering why you're destroyed in America, this is why you're destroyed, Black and Hispanic man. The Lord said, woe unto them that go into Egypt for help. Meaning, woe unto you that side with America for help, instead of siding with the Most High.
Right. Instead
of obeying God and having faith in him, that if you obey him, he will be with you and he will free you. Instead, you side with America. Because instead of having results in the future, you want results right now. You want happiness right now, even if your people are oppressed. You're not willing to let go of your satisfaction that is in the moment for a better future for your people, man.
Right.
And that's the problem, and that's why the Lord is against you. Go ahead.
And stay on horses and trust in chariots because they are many.
Meaning you're American. You trust in America. I'm American. I trust in America. You understand? You believe in America, man. You believe in that flag. You understand? You a coon. You a tomahawk. You're a Tío Tomás. That's what you are.
Right.
Instead of trusting in the Most High, you rather trust in your slave master. I understand. We get it. You understand? But it's not going to free us, man. None of these things is going to free us. The only thing that's going to free us is coming back to the Most High and really serving him. Go ahead.
And in horsemen, because they are very strong.
And basically saying you trust in America. You understand? That's America's your daddy.
Right.
You rather side with, with your slave master instead of siding with your father in heaven. Let me get Matthew 5:17. So what do we have to do? What do we have to do to come back to the Most High? What do we have to do to come out of this hell, man? As a people, as God's people. Well, we're going to read about it. Let's see what Christ said. Go ahead.
Book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 17. Think not that I am come to destroy the law.
Christ said, don't think that I come to destroy the law. You understand? He didn't come to destroy the law, meaning the laws and the commandments in the Bible, the rules that God gave us to live by. Christ said, I come not to destroy these laws. Go ahead.
Or the prophets.
Or the prophets, meaning the things that Moses laid down. A lot of our people still want to eat pork, eat shrimp, eat crab, eat lobster, because they say, well, we only have to. Christ said he didn't come to do away with the law, meaning we only have to keep the 10 commandments. We always try to find a way to go around what the Bible is really saying. He said he didn't come to destroy what Moses laid down. That includes a dietary law. You understand? You can't eat whatever you want, man. We're not damn animals. Dogs eat whatever they want. You understand? Animals do what their instincts tell them.
Right.
And that's a dog. That's an animal. You want to go out here and have sex with everybody, every girl, no matter who she is. That's like an animal. A dog will see a leg. A dog will hump a chair. That's you. You understand? You go hump a white girl, knowing damn well she comes from the people who enslaved your people.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
You'll go lay with the Asian woman when you shouldn't be doing that because God said not to do that. You understand? Keep going.
I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill.
Christ, I didn't come to destroy, but to fulfill. Go ahead.
For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law till all be fulfilled.
Meaning what? He's saying until heaven and earth pass, the law is going to stay here forever. And there's still a heaven and there's still a earth, meaning that we still have to keep these laws. You understand? And when he says to all be fulfilled, what he's saying is he's going to fulfill, he's going to all be fulfilled is talking about the prophecies about Christ. You understand? All the prophecies about Christ in the Bible, that's what's going to be fulfilled. All right. It's not saying to all be fulfilled, now we can eat pork again. That's not what it's saying. All right. So if we want change, if we want real change from our condition as Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans, it's not going to happen magically. You understand? This isn't the Christian church. That's not how God works.
Right.
You understand? God does not work how the Christian church taught you he works. That's not how he operates. He operates like a father. If you want your father to help you and to take you out of the bad situation you are in, then you have to come back to your father. You have to come back home. Come back home and humble yourself so that your father can accept you again. But if we're going to be children out in the streets, disobeying, doing whatever we want to do, then the Lord is not going to be with us. You understand? The Lord is not going to be with us, and we're going to continue to die. We're going to continue to die, continue to be oppressed. Our condition is never going to change. I don't care how many times we vote for a president. I don't care how many Black people get shot by the police. Right. I don't care how many Black and Hispanics die at the cages and how angry we are. It's not going to change until we come back to our Father, man. You understand? That's the only way it's going to change. If we come back and serve God. So it doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter how popular you are, how many followers you have on Instagram, how happy you are, how good your life is. Your children are going to be oppressed. You might have a good life. Your child's going to be born and they're going to be oppressed. They're going to be put to death. You understand? Why? Because we're not serving our God. We're not serving our power. Let me get Deuteronomy 28 and 1.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and do all his commandments.
Meaning, read that again.
Okay. To observe and to do all his commandments. To observe and to do.
No, from the top.
Deuteronomy 28 and 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
And it's going to come to pass. I mean, it's going to happen in the future. If you hearken diligently, if you listen to the words of the Most High, your God, if we turn back to our God and listen to him, go ahead. Not listen to ourselves, but listen to the Most High. Not listen to the stupid thoughts in our head, but listen to the words of God. Go ahead.
Okay. To observe, to do all his commandments.
To learn, to observe, and to do his commandments. Meaning you go in the Bible and you learn what God requires of you, and you do it. Go ahead.
Okay. Which I command thee this day.
And this is a commandment. Moses commanded this to us years ago. And you know what Christ said? I come not to destroy the law, nor the prophets. So what Moses is saying right now still stands to this day. He was a prophet of God. Go ahead.
God, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations.
You see that? That the Lord thy God will set thee on high if we keep his commandments. He's going to set us up high, meaning above, over. We're going to be superior. Right now, we're not set up high. Right now, we are at the bottom. You understand? We are at the bottom of society. Go ahead.
Okay. Set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
You see that? He's going to set us up on high above all nations of the earth. If we what? If we obey him. Not if we have all the money in the world. Not if we have the newest Corvette, the newest Jordans. Not saying it's wrong to have money and a house and clothes and jewelry. There's nothing wrong with that. You understand? But if you're not serving God, it's useless. Our number one priority should be serving our God, because that's what's going to get us out of oppression. That's what's going to set us above all other nations.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
Marching is not going to set us above all other nations.
That's right.
You understand? Voting, you're voting to be equal. Why would you want to vote? Why would you want to vote for a president who's promising you equality when God is promising you to rule the earth, to be over everybody? You understand?
Right.
You're not going to have to pay taxes. People are going to pay you taxes. You're not going to have to build your houses. People are going to build your houses. You understand? You're not going to have to work a 9 to 5. You're going to be the boss. That's what it means when it says you will be over all the other people.
Right.
You understand? We think the kingdom of heaven is a place when you die. A kingdom of heaven is not a place when you die and you go into heaven with angels and God waiting at you at the gate with a long list to see if your name is on it. That's not the kingdom of heaven. We're talking about the kingdom of heaven right now. We will be over all the other nations, meaning we're going to rule over every nation. Oh, meaning what? We're going to rule the planet. You understand?
Right.
That's freedom.
Right.
You should want that over a president who promises you equality, who promises you jobs. Latinos are happy because Joe Biden provided jobs. We are slaves. That's a slave. We're happy because he provided jobs. Slave, like wake up and go to work and work for money. How about you give us free land and free rent? Your forefathers did rape, rob, and murdered our forefathers. You guys did do that. We're still at the border. Jobs, that's all you got to offer. So you telling me we have to wake up still in the morning and go to work when our land was taken from us, when the land of the Native Americans was taken from them? Why are the natives even suffering? Why does the Isupk have to go to the reservations and give them clothes so they won't freeze to death in the winter? Why do we have to go feed the poor people in Arizona? You understand? Why do we have to do it? We shouldn't be doing it. We suffered enough already. And that's the problem. We're slaves. We have a slave mentality. Right. God is trying to give us a mentality that is not of a slave. He's trying to give us a mentality of a king, someone who rules. And that's why it's hard for us to accept it, because we're generation to generation, we've been laborers, slaves. We think voting for a president that's going to give us a job is amazing, when every other president has said that. Obama said that. You understand? Right. Obama said that. Every other president said that, man. Right. And we keep falling for it when we should stand with the Most High God. Keep going.
Verse 2. And all these blessings shall come on thee.
Okay, drop that. Let me get Matthew 6 and 10. Now we're gonna pass the class over to Isupk.
If I may, can somebody pass me that water, Baba Kasha? Water. Okay. Man, let's get that brother a powerful hand, man. Start off, say Shalom, Israel. Yahweh Shem Shah Rakatham. To all the brothers, Yahweh Shem Alatham. Hashem Yahshai. To all the sisters. Salakia. Go back. All right. Man, what Oscar Ward was bringing out was so heavy, man. And this brother right here is an excellent brother. Oscar Ward is an excellent brother in the Lord's army, man. Give that brother a hand one more time. Salakia, man. If you can give me 100 Oscar Wards, man, you can give me 100 Amatazas, man, we will take over this place in this nation that we're living in hell, man. You give me about 10 Yawasabs, man, we good to go, man. This place is utter hell, man, and the priests and prophets that are in the Isupk and the Commander General are amazing men, man. Give me 1,000 resigns, man. We're gonna do what we need to do, man, to take over this place, man. And I appreciate every last one of you brothers, man. You brothers are excellent. You brothers understand what it means to sacrifice, and that's the title of tonight's class. Isupk, cut from the cloth of Abraham.
That's right.
Abraham was known for the sacrifice he was willing to give unto the Lord, man. a lot of people can talk about the Most High God. You hear about the Most High God in the Christian church. You hear about him in the Catholic Church. You hear about the Lord everywhere on planet Earth, man. But it's easy to talk about something. It's hard to be about something, man. The Isupk does not talk about the Bible. We do what? Go ahead, Art. What do we do? Go ahead.
We live it.
Damn right, man. That's what we do in Isupk. We don't want to talk about the Bible. We don't want to read the Bible. We want to live the Bible. I just text you something on my desire. Go ahead and see what it says and read it. Bogusha. Talk about sacrifice. Can someone else, Oscar Ward, can you look up the word sacrifice, the definition?
Come on, guys. I got it.
Okay. You got what I text you?
Come on.
What does it say?
It says, how to teach children
Mm-hmm.
the principle of sacrifice.
Right. The article is talking about how to teach your children the principle of sacrifice. How to teach your children how to have morals, integrity, honor is what we teach here in Isupk. How do you teach that to your children? Go ahead and read.
Teach by example.
Teach by what?
Example.
By reading,
Example.
by talking,
Example.
by yelling.
Example.
You have to teach your children by example.
Right.
How do you teach them the importance of sacrifice? You have to lead by example. That's what we have here. That's why fake Israelites hate the Isupk, because we give honor and glory to Commanding General Yohana,
Right.
because he taught his children how to sacrifice by leading through example.
Right.
That's what's important. You can say things all day. You can be Cleflo Dollar. You can be TD Jakes. You can be the Pope. And you can tell people to do things, but what do you do behind closed doors? Everything that you tell them not to do. You tell them to read the Bible says it's unlawful to be a homosexual, but your Pope is a homosexual. You tell them it's unlawful to commit adultery, but your Pope commits adultery. Your pastor commits adultery.
Right.
Keep reading that.
The most powerful tool parents have for teaching their children just about anything is example.
Right. That's the most powerful tool we have. That's what we have here in the truth, man. We can never forget that. You want to lead, man, you have to show an example of what it means to show love, to show care, to show compassion to your people and mercy. That comes from the Lord. That comes from Most High in Christ, man. Keep going.
If a parent whines and moans about sacrificing or serving others, the children will probably reflect the same attitude. If a parent makes a sacrifice for someone.
Hold on, Salaki. If a parent whines and moans and complains about having to get up and do the dishes and having to get up and mow the lawn and having to do and go to work and having to do this and do that to take care of the child is going to take on the characteristics of that parent. You're going to start to act like that parent. And that's what we have to be conscious of here in the truth, man. Because here in the Isupk, man, it's a lot here, you know. General Muhammad says we don't need any other brothers, man. We don't need any new brothers in the UPK. We don't need anyone else to come into the school. We're good with the brothers that we have right here, man. If you want to whine and complain about the sacrifice that it takes to be a man of the Lord, go to the Christian church.
Right.
Go to the Catholic church. Go to the Muslim mosque. Stay away from us, man. Because you're setting a bad example to the brothers that are coming up behind you. Keep going, Art.
Come on, Khan. It's like on the top.
No, go from where you started, where you left off at.
Come on, Khan. If a parent makes a sacrifice for someone out of love and concern.
Out of what?
Out of love and concern.
We teach class because of what?
Out of love and concern.
We go to camp because of what?
Out of love and concern.
We feed the poor because of what?
Out of love and concern.
We counsel people because of what?
Out of love and concern.
Keep going.
Rather than obligation.
Right. This is not why we do this, man.
Right.
We don't come into the truth because we feel obligated, like this is something that this is a choice, man. You chose to do this work.
Right.
No one is keeping and forcing you here to be a brother to your brothers, man.
Right.
To be a sister to your sisters. We're not out here with this. This is a cult because we are cult leaders. We lead the cult.
Right.
We're not forcing people to drink the goddamn Kool-Aid, man. We're not going to hold you by sword if you want to leave this place, man. Get the hell out of the Isupk under Commander General Yohana if you don't want to be here, Ak.
Right.
Akwath.
Right.
We're not here by obligation, man. We're here because we want to serve the Lord. We want to serve our King, Yahweh Shai Mashiach.
That's
Keep reading.
Come on, Khan. Rather than obligation, the children will sense this also.
The children will sense this also. The men under you will sense this also. You're doing this because you didn't got caught up in something. This is not the Pyrus, man. We not on Pyru. Salakia. We not on Crip. You ain't here by obligation, man. We ain't holding nobody. If you want to leave, it's time for you to go. Shalom, man.
Right.
Right.
The children will sense that spirit on you, man. Keep going.
Come on, Khan. Focus attention on the reason for sacrificing.
Why are we giving up? Now? Give me the definition of sacrifice. We're gonna get into our precepts real soon. Salakia.
So the definition for sacrifice,
Right.
an act of giving up something, especially for the sake of someone or something else.
Good night. One more time, man.
So it's the definition for sacrifice out of the Merriam-Webster's dictionary.
Right.
An act of giving up something, especially for the sake of someone or something else.
Or someone or something else, man. You giving up your time on your Saturday. You giving up your sleep. Go ahead, Ak.
Also got another definition, sir.
Go ahead.
Something given up, especially for the sake of helping others.
Right. Of doing what?
Helping others.
That's what we're doing here in ISUPK, man. Christ did not give up his life for you. That was the coldest thing one of the coldest things like I ever heard in this truth, man. Officer 5001 y'all told us in class one time that Christ did not die for you like your Christian heart thinks. That, oh, Jesus died for me. You want to hold on and believe that Christ died for you. Christ did not die for you. Christ died for the nation of Israel.
Right.
He died for a nation of people.
Right.
We sacrifice for other people, for our nation, to see them improve. Right. We're tired of being at the bottom of everything. You want to be the first in sports. You want to be the first in music, but you're last in life, man.
Right. That's right.
Who's tired of being last in life? This is why we sacrifice our time, because we love and care for our people. Read it again a little bit before where you just left off.
Come on, concert. Focus, Slakia.
Mm-hmm. That's good right there.
Right there. Come on. Focus attention on the reason for sacrifice.
When you don't want to get up in the morning and go to camp, focus on the reason why you're losing your sleep, why you're giving up your time, why you're going to be separated from your family. Focus on that reason. Because you want the goddamn king. Salagi for you. You want the kingdom of heaven.
Right.
You want rulership, man. That's what you want. Why are you giving up your time? Why are you giving up your precious time, man? Because you want to see this brother. You don't want to be the only one. You know who wants to be the only one? Jay-Z.
Right.
LeBron James.
Right.
Beyonce. Rihanna. Bad Bunny. They want to be the only brother that's living successful. We give up our time because we want to see our entire nation being successful. Keep reading, Salaki.
Not just on what is giving up. if your family is sacrificing to help someone serving in the mission field, focus on the joy that comes into people's lives.
Right. We can stop right there. Focus on the joy that comes into people's lives, man. The key thing to depression and suicide, the reason why people commit suicide and have depression is because they focus on themselves. They focus on being selfish. You're depressed because you're deriving your happiness from something that can go away. You said, I got this good job, and that's what makes me happy. Guess what? You can lose that job.
Right.
You happy because you got this woman. Guess what? You can lose that woman. Now you're depressed.
Right.
Guess what? You got happy because what else? You got this car. You got these clothes. When all those things go away, you become depressed. But if you focus and make your happiness about helping others, no one can take that from you.
Right.
No one can sway you from that. Salakia. All right, we're gonna need another reader, Baba Kashaf. Let's go to our first precept. Let me get Genesis chapter 15 and verse 2. A lot of precepts. That was a big intro, but it's very important, man. The title of tonight's class is Isupk, cut from the same cloth of Abraham. Oscar War, if I may, what does it mean to be cut from the same cloth or something? Have you heard this statement before?
Sir. It means to be cut from the same cloth means both of you are the same.
Right.
Both of you come from the same material.
Right.
If you will.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's what it means, sir.
You want to add on to the Matazah?
Nah,
You heard this statement before?
I was thinking about the same thing, you know what I'm saying? Same material, you know what I'm saying? If you know what I'm saying, the value of this cloth is, you know what I'm saying, cut, I mean, you're going to have the same value as that, you know what I'm saying, that brother.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. As a matter of fact, drop that one. Give me Exodus chapter 3, verse 15. We'll go to that one first.
Chapter 3, verse 15?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exodus chapter 3, verse 15.
Book of Exodus, Exodus chapter 3, verse 15. And God said, moreover, unto Moses, thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, the Lord God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac.
The God of who?
God of Abraham.
Right.
The God of Isaac,
and
the God of Jacob.
Right.
Have sent me unto you.
Right. Hold it right there. The Lord spoke unto Moses and said, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob, the power of Abraham, the power of Isaac, the power of Jacob. The thing that allowed these men to do these things is Yahweh, the Most High God. All right. Now drop that. Let's go to Genesis 15 and 2. We'll go back to where we the first one I pulled. Abraham was cut from a certain cloth. He was different from the rest of his family. It said Abraham came from the land of Ur and the Chaldees. He was around a bunch of people that worshiped 365 different gods. A god for every day of the year. They had an idol for every day of the year. He was different. He was what they would call today the black sheep of the family. Everyone else is doing what? Celebrating Christmas. Everyone else is doing what? Getting high. Everyone else is having abortions. Everyone else is promoting homosexuality. But Abraham was different from the rest of his family because he wanted to go and worship the true God. Go ahead and read.
Because the book of Genesis, chapter 15, verse 2. And Abram said, Lord God, what wilt thou give me, seeing I go childless? And the steward of my house is this Eliezer of Damascus.
Right. Keep going.
Okay, verse 3. And Abram said, behold, to me thou hast given no seed, and lo, one born in my house is mine heir.
Right. So Abraham in his mind said, okay, I haven't had any seed. I haven't had any sons. I'm going to leave my inheritance to my servant. Keep going.
Okay. verse 4. And behold, the word of the Lord came unto him, saying, This shall not be thine heir, but he that shall come forth out of thine own bowels shall be thine heir.
Right. The son that I'm going to give you is going to come from your own bowels. It's going to be your flesh and your bone. Your natural born son, and this is the one I'm going to give you. Keep going.
Okay. Verse 5. And he brought him forth abroad and said, Look now toward heaven and tell the stars, if thou be able to number them. And he said unto him, So shall thy seed be. Verse 6. And he believed in the Lord, he continued it to him.
And he counted.
And he counted it to him for righteousness.
Right. So stop right there. So Abraham believed the Lord, and the Lord counted to him as righteousness, man. You came into this truth. You did your 90 days. You shed yourself with the world. You worked on giving up the things of your flesh and carnality, man. And you know what the Lord did? He counted that as righteousness. The Bible says that the angels rejoice when what? One sinner comes into this truth. Paraphrasing. That's an important thing. The things that you men have done is an important thing in the eyes of the Lord. Like, you have somebody in the world, if I'm gonna go back a couple of years, who's famous right now, man? Who's somebody? I keep thinking of the same. I'm gonna go back to the president though. Black people, Hispanic people like Barack Obama. If Barack Obama was on an interview and he said, you know, I know your mom and she's a good person, how do you think your mom will feel? Anybody? Go ahead.
She would feel special.
She feel what?
Special.
Why?
Because it's coming from someone of importance.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Someone who a whole nation looks up to, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And wants to be sometimes too.
Right. So if he gave her a shout out on TV, she would feel very special, right?
Right.
So now imagine that the Lord, the creator of heaven and earth, is saying, you know, this brother right here is a good brother. He give you a shout out. The angels recognize you. That's an important thing, man. You should feel special. This is an important thing to come into the truth argument. Let's drop down and go. Matter of fact, let's go to Hebrews 11 and 17. Hebrews chapter 11, verse 17.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 11, verse 17. By faith, Abraham, when he was tried, offered up Isaac, and he that had received the promises offered up his only begotten son.
Right. Abraham, who was tried, offered up Isaac, and he that received the promises offered up his only begotten son. So Abraham was given these promises, and he was going to have a son that who was going to be numbered as the stars of heaven and earth.
Right.
But when he was tested and tried, he was willing to give up the thing that the Lord had given him. He was willing to give it all back up, man. So how do we apply this to our work in the truth, our walk in the truth? The Isupk is cut from the same cloth as Abraham. This is a brother that did something that is easily read about. It's hard to imagine and think that if you were put in his shoes, if you had to do the same thing. It's easy to say. You got something to say on that? Go ahead.
I'm thinking it's like brothers, when they come in here, like, I won't say kind of, I don't want to say almost, but they actually do give up, like, sometimes even like family.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Flesh and blood, because of what we be talking about.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it really cuts them to the point where it's like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You got to separate yourself from your own family.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like a big sacrifice, you know what I'm saying, that I would say that, you know what I'm saying, brothers in here, it would be one, the world, and then another sometimes even family.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Which is sometimes hard, especially for blacks and Hispanics, because I mean, you think that's all you got in life.
Right.
This is, you know what I'm saying? This becomes your new family.
Damn right.
Wow.
Man. And that's so important. And the ability to do that is absolutely One West.
Right.
To the ability to give up everything for the Lord and your brothers is the spirit that the Most High demands of men of the Lord. This is what the school was built on. And so I'm gonna give a quick story. We're gonna keep going to our next verse. But I'm not sure if anybody has heard this story before. If you have, feel free to go in and explain the rest of it. But the very first Passover I went to, when we talk about leading by example, the very first Passover I went to, General Muhammad was teaching the Feast of Dedication. He was explaining, teaching the class. And in the middle of the class, he began to talk about the sacrifices the men of the UPK have given to be here, just like the brother Matazal was saying. And one of the stories he was talking about was Captain of 13,000 Mawaquad. This is my first Passover. I didn't even know who Captain Mawaquad was. But he said, this brother right here, his son is in the hospital right now. His son is been told by the doctors that he is going to die. Has anybody heard this story, or anybody remember this story? All right. I'm gonna break it down for you, Salaki. He said his son has been told by the doctors that he has a few days to live. And Captain Mawaquad called General Muhammad, called the Commander General. He told him, Salaki, sir, Salaki Adawanya, I'm not going to be able to make it to the Passover this year. And Commander General told him, come to the Passover. He said, Salaki, sir, my son, it's a couple of weeks, a couple of months, or whatever. My wife's here. She's in the hospital. Baby is sick. They're saying, he's about to die. I just can't make it to the Passover. He said, I come to the Passover. He said, if that baby lives, I want to celebrate and celebrate that baby's life with you, Ak. But if that baby dies, I want to cry with you, Ak, and share in the pain that you experience, Ak. Come to the Passover. And General Muhammad was telling this story, and he's like, Captain Mawaquad is in the back of this room right now. Give it up for him. You know what I'm saying? And, everyone in the room is just like, you know what I mean? It was a powerful moment. And he said, that baby is still alive right now at this moment. And as time went on, about a month or so, a few weeks later, Captain Mawaquad did have to bury his son. That boy did not make it, man. But me seeing that out of someone in the UPK, that a brother like that would come to serve the Lord under any circumstances, didn't allow me to have any excuses. When I'm getting weak or I'm going through whatever BS I'm going through, how can I say I'm cut from the same cloth as Captain Mawaquad when I can't come to camp because of what? I can't show up to class because of what? How can I say I'm in the same body as him when I am weak and he is strong? I cannot do it. I will not do it. I get courage from men like him. I follow and say Khan Adawan Khan to men like him.
That's right.
That have that much brotherhood and that love the Lord that much that they will do anything that is commanded of them, even if it means leaving your son who is dying, who's losing his life. I'm too wild, sir. Too wild. So let's keep going. But you know how men like him are able to move like that? It's because they follow men like Abraham. They don't read this like this is a goddamn fairy tale. They read this like this is my forefather. Like I have the same DNA that Abraham has. I follow the same God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It's not a cool T-shirt that you wear. It's not a cool saying. Not a fake Israelite.
Right.
You can say things that I'm from the seed of Abraham and Isaac and Jacob. Nigga, you won't give up weed for the Lord. Nigga, you won't give up that stinky broad that then slept with the whole neighborhood to do the work of the Lord, man.
Right.
What have you given up? What have you sacrificed for your nation of people? Go ahead, read that.
Come on. Verse 18. Of whom it was said that in Isaac shall thy seed be called.
Right.
Verse 19. Accounting that God was able to raise him up, even from the dead,
Right.
from whence also he received him in a figure.
Right. Does anybody know what that means? Anybody want to break that down?
This is Hebrews 11 and 19. Accounting that God was able to raise him up, even from the dead, from whence he also received him in a figure.
Right. He's talking about Isaac. Go ahead, Ike. You want to take a shot at it?
God, so say that what he said is that the most high, he has the power to raise him from the dead. Like he's gonna, like even if he did die, he could just go back in a new body.
Right. And what's the from whence also he received him in a figure?
Right, like,
What does that mean?
Means like just like he received him from the dead, like we all know in UPK, I know there was regeneration going on. You know what I'm saying? So even though Isaac was dead before and came through his mother's womb before,
Right.
he became a new body through the same way.
Good night, man. That's exactly what the breakdown is. Read it one more time.
Okay. This is verse 19.
Read verse 18.
Okay. Verse 18. Of whom it was said that in Isaac shall thy seed be called.
Right. The Lord told him that in Isaac shall thy seed be called. But Abraham was willing to sacrifice Isaac because the Lord ordered him to do it. Keep going.
Okay. Verse 19. Accounting that God was able to raise him up.
That he was able to do what?
Raise him up.
He said, okay, I can follow this order because the Lord gave me him. Guess what? He can raise him up again. Keep going.
Even from the dead.
Even from what?
From the dead.
He can raise you up from losing your goddamn car. He can raise you up from losing your ribs. He can raise you up from, God forbid, your son or your daughter pass away. He can raise you up from drugs. He can raise you up from prostitution. He can raise you up out of prison. He can raise you up out of any condition that you've been through. If you truly believe and follow the Most High God, anything that's in your path, you don't have to worry about losing that. Because the Lord he gave it to you. He can take it away. Guess what? He can give it back to you again. Keep going.
Okay. From whence also he received them in a figure.
Right. And that's reincarnation. He knew that Isaac had been reincarnated and that he can be reincarnated again. All right. All right. Let's drop that. Let's go to John chapter 15, verse 13. Got a lot of precepts. Try to run through some so we can get these out. But if anybody has any comments, so lock it. And before, grab that precept. But before we go, does anybody have any questions? This is scripture breakdown. If you have any questions, go ahead and bring those questions out. Whether it's a precept, question in life, anything that you're going through, feel free to ask those questions. And I see the comments online as well. So, and shalom to everybody in the chat. Matam Yad, S. Ross, Just Art and Paint, Imani, Shalom Yahashim Yashai, Brakatham, Shalom Yahashim Yashai. If you have any questions, type them in the chat. Anybody in the room got any questions? All right. Make sure y'all come to class with some questions. I can come to scripture breakdown with some questions. Everybody does not know the Bible. I don't know every precept in the Bible, but we are here to learn. If you have any questions, it's important. If you can think of a question that someone else might want to know, ask those questions. You know what I'm saying? It's important. All right. All right, let's keep going.
The book of John, chapter 15, verse 13. Greater love hath no man than this,
All right.
that a man lay down his life for his friends.
Right. That's the greatest love you can have. So lay down your life for your friends, for your brothers, for your people, for your nation. Right? We do this every day, and that's showing true love. Christian can talk about it, a Buddhist can talk about it, a Muslim can talk about it, but to live it is a lot harder to do. Drop that. Give me 2 Samuel chapter 1, verse 26. As a matter of fact,
2 Samuel 1 and 26.
go ahead.
The book of 2 Samuel, chapter 1, verse 26. I am distressed for thee, my brother Jonathan.
Mm-hmm.
Very pleasant have thou been unto me. Thy love to me was wonderful,
Right.
passing the love of women.
Right. This is another precept that a lot of Egyptologists and other people want to use this precept to make it seem like Jonathan and David were on some weird, funny style stuff. But in reality, this was brotherhood. This is the foundation. This is the motivation we need to have in being able to sacrifice. It's brotherhood. That's what we teach. It's the foundation. That's the glue of the Isupk, is having brotherhood. And that's what they had, man. They absolutely had love for the Lord and had love for one another. And that's surpassed the love of a woman. Meaning, okay, I love my rib, I love my children, but these brothers is who I go to war with.
Right.
You're going to be in a situation where, you know what? Your woman is going to say, why are you always spending time with the brothers? Why are you always with them? Why are you always doing this and doing that? You don't spend no time with me. She's going to try to make you feel bad for being with the Akim. But guess what? Let something happen. Let somebody come over to her house with some rah-rah and her life is in danger. Who's she going to call? She going to call you. And who you going to call? You're going to call the Akim. And she's going to be thankful that she has strong men, warriors to come and protect her and save her, man. So don't listen to that. That's a demon on her that's trying to tell you to stray away from the brothers when you know that they don't need her. The Akim ain't going to call your rib when they need help. But God guarantee you, man, in that day that they talk about in Matthew in the 24th chapter, that woman is going to be looking for strong men, man. And you will help building up those men here and doing the work of the Lord. All right, drop that. Give me Matthew chapter 12, verse 48. Lock it for my...
Book of Matthew, chapter 12, verse 48. But he answered and said unto him that told him, who is my mother? And who are my brethren? Verse 49. And he stretched forth his hand.
Go up a little bit there. Go to verse 47, I believe.
Verse 47. Then one said unto him, behold, thy mother and thy brethren stand without,
Right.
desiring to speak with thee.
Right. This is Christ. He's at camp. He's doing the work, teaching the people. And some men came to him and told him that his mother and his brother were outside the camp. Keep going.
Okay, verse 48. But he answered and said unto him that told him, who is my mother? Who are my brethren?
Right. Christ is checking these brothers. Who are they? Keep going.
Okay, verse 49. And he stretched forth his hand toward his disciples and said, behold, my mother and my brethren.
Commander General Yohanan said, what?
Behold, my mother and my brethren.
General Mahyman said, what?
Behold, my mother and my brethren.
All the generals said, what?
Behold, my mother and my brethren.
The captains look at you like our mother and our brethren, man. The people that are here in our Isupk, this is our real family. These are the people that we care about. These are the people that we put forth and put first. Because this is what Christ did. Keep going.
Come on, verse 50. For whosoever shall do the will of my Father which is in heaven, the same is my brother and sister and mother.
Right. That's what it's about. Keep going. Matter of fact, let's go to Matthew 10 and 34. That's another bedrock UPK scripture, because we know how much, and see, someone that will try to be evil and try to speak evil against the ISUPK. Shalom, sir. Check with the. You want to take over the class, sir? Come. All right. Someone that would want to speak evil on the ISUPK will try to make it seem like there's something wrong for putting the men of the Lord above your family. But in reality, it's glorious in the sight of the Lord, because it doesn't mean we hate our family. It doesn't mean we don't love our wives or our children. It's that we understand the power of rank and order, man. We understand the power of who can help who. Just like I was explaining a few seconds ago. The Lord can help you. That wife can't help you. When you in a situation, you in that car wreck, that car spinning out of control, 80 miles an hour, you don't say, "Mama, help me," or "My wife, help me." You call unto the Most High God. When brother's been in shootouts and guns and bullets and flying, you don't call out to your child, man. You call out to the Lord so you can make it home to your child. That's what we have focus here in the UPK, man. Life is about war. We're going to war with our enemies, and we want to make it home to our families. But we can't make it home to our families without the Lord, without the men of the Lord. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
All right. Drop that. Yeah, where we at? Matthew 10 and 34.
Okay. The book of Matthew, chapter 10, verse 34. Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword.
Came not to send what?
I came not to send peace, but a sword.
Keep going.
Verse 35. For I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother,
Right.
the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. Verse 36. And a man's foes shall be thy of his own household.
Right. Christ came to show you who is who. You're gonna have people that liked you more when you were a drug dealer, liked your rib more when she was a whore, liked her more when she thought that sex wasn't marriage and she slept with every man on the block. Like when your rib got 2-3 abortions and didn't have the baby. Good night, man. The Lord came to set you at variance with your family, because the things that you're teaching make them uncomfortable because they want to continue in their sin. Drop that and give me Matthew chapter 19, verse 27. Baba Kashaf.
Book of Matthew, chapter taken all and followed thee. What shall we have therefore? Verse 28. And Jesus said unto them, Verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me in the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, ye also shall sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel.
Right. Read it again from the top, Salaki.
Okay, verse 27.
Yeah.
Okay, verse 27. Then answered Peter and said unto him, Behold, we have forsaken all and followed thee. What shall we have therefore? Verse 28. Jesus said unto them, Verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me in the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory,
Right.
ye also shall sit upon the 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel.
Keep going.
Verse 29. And every one that have forsaken houses, or brethren, or sisters, or father, or mother, or wife, or children, or lands, for my sake, shall receive 100-fold, and shall inherit everlasting life.
Right. So that's the thing that can be missed. Don't forget about that when we're going through the sacrifice that we are in the truth, in his walk. That's the thing that Abraham understood and knew as well. That you are willing to give this up, but the Lord can return it to you, not only what you've had and what you've lost, but even greater, 100-fold of what you lost. So we're fighting for the kingdom. We're not fighting for just the small things in life, man. We're doing something greater. And so when you don't want to get up, when you don't want to do this, when you don't want to do that, man, fight that demon, battle that demon. Don't be. Have these precepts in you, man. Have these precepts in you and not on you, man. Don't just read this book. Don't just learn about this book. Try to live this book. Don't even try, man. Just live it. Hold yourself to the same standard that the men that were in this book held themselves to. And that's why I say that Abraham is so important, because he set the tone, Akim. He set the tone from the jump. And we follow a man that was willing to go to the end of everything and give it all up because he wanted to obey the Lord. So now what is our excuse after that? The same way Officer Parak was bringing out the other day, that Christ gave up his everything, his life, his flesh, did one of the most painful deaths that you could think of for you. Go ahead, Op.
If I could, sir, it's heavy because, especially for people in the world, our brothers and sisters, they don't realize that every man in the Bible was a man. Abraham was a man. All the prophets were just men, and everything that we go through as far as emotions, as far as situations, the things that go on in the mind with having to sacrifice, having to make decisions, and dealing with stress, dealing with worry, all those things, having to get up early, and all these with family and your rib and kids and all these things, they dealt with it.
Right.
Christ, especially Christ, he dealt with it. He was a man. He was not. Nothing about him was supernatural.
Right.
The only thing about him that was supernatural was his loyalty to the Lord. But he was a man just like us, and we can be that too. They, like you saying, sir, the same thing we go through, he went through.
Right.
So it's not like we're alone in this. It's not like, is the pain we feel, they felt. Right. So we shouldn't feel sorry for ourselves. We should, like you saying, so we should hold to what the scriptures say as far as our reward. The thing, basically what you're going over, sir.
Right. Most sorry, Christ. All right. Okay. We're going to pass the class over to Priest and Officer of 5,000 at Bun.
What's going on, AZ? How we doing?
Right.
All right. As you said, I'm Priest Officer 5,000 at Bun, holding it down at the mini zones here in Arizona for a little personal reasons, for a little business trip, what have you. But as is usual, and as the brother was mentioning, we always want to make time for the truth, make time to serve the Most High, chiefly make time to perform our office. So our office is priest. I assume you're a trooper? Officer. We're all priests in here. So we have an office to perform, duties to perform. We have to perform without, regards to our health or what have you, meaning this, you have to perform in sickness and in health, what have you, till death do you part, because you're married to this work like a woman is married to a man. I want to talk about the earthquake in Syria. Somebody pull up that article on the earthquake in Syria. The earthquake in Syria and Turkey was absolutely insane. I've never heard of an earthquake that killed 20,000 people. Has anyone in here lived through or seen an earthquake? We're out here on the West Coast. I'm assuming some of you have lived in California or from California, what have you. So you've been in earthquakes. First of all, explain what that's like. And secondly, answer this question. Has anyone ever been in an earthquake that's killed that many people?
Oh, Salaki, sir. I have not been in an earthquake that has killed that many people, but I was in the 1989 earthquake in the San Francisco Bay Area, which is one of the biggest ones that has rocked California since 1906. I think it was like a 7.2 or somewhere up there. And
right.
I was about 3 years old. I was a small child. I just remember when it happened, the earth started to shake. We ran to the house. Things were coming off the walls. And you start getting reports on the news about this many people died, that many people died here. The freeway fell here, it collapsed there. But
right.
To hear that number is that's astronomical. I think only like 106 people died in that earthquake. Somewhere between 100 and 300 people.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, read the article.
This is from CNN. Over 21,000 dead from earthquake in Turkey and Syria.
21,000 dead from earthquake in Turkey and Syria. What we have to say in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, as I'm sure everyone tuning in, everyone in this room knows, is we are sad by that. I mean, in this, we don't take pleasure in the death of anyone. Heathens, particularly Israelites, are people. But that's 21,000 people that, aren't going to be around their families anymore. That's 21,000 people that will no longer take their breath, will no longer see their kids, their loved ones, what have you. Like we have loved ones. We have, some of us have kids, or all of us have kids, what have you. I'm too sure.
Right.
But we all have family, etc., that love us. Some might not. But we have people that are blessed by our presence. You know what I mean? People that interact with us and get to see us. And the thought of those people not being able to see us anymore is daunting, man. And it's a sad thing. However, what I do have to say is that it is God's judgment. And God's judgment on this earth is going to be brutal for what these nations have done to the blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. Particularly the Turks and the Syrians. They have a lot of our stuff. I'll put it that way. Remember, Paul went to Damascus. That's where he came into the truth, on the road to where? Damascus. So they've got a lot of relics. What was that cat's name? Saint Nick, the guy who Santa Claus is based on, was a so-called black man. Where was he at? He was in Turkey. So all that stuff they have from the bishops back in the day that were black, the popes up through the 500s, Pope Gregory. You look up pictures of Pope Gregory, he was a so-called black man. Where's all that stuff? All those relics, all that gold that those popes had. Where is it? It's in their coffers, man. They've benefited from it, whether it be thousands of years ago or over here in Arizona and in California. Here recently, they've benefited from it in the past, few decades or what have you. But these nations all have had a hand at our slavery, and because of that, God is going to judge them. And that shows how much God loves us, man. These are people that had us in slavery hundreds, if not thousands of years ago, and he's visiting them with earthquakes. Now, they do get earthquakes quite often. What you have to understand is that there's a spiritual reason behind these storms. On everything, there's a spiritual reason. The spiritual reason is that God is visiting and punishing these nations. Keep reading in that article.
It says more than 21,000 people have been killed and 10 of thousands injured after a magnitude of 7.8 earthquake struck Turkey and Syria.
That's not that much higher than the one that you were in 1989. So why was all that destruction caused? Because an angel was causing it. You get my point? That's the spiritual reason. Buildings were being knocked down. Destruction was being caused that was not being caused in California. Why? Because the Lord is visiting these nations. He visited America with COVID-19. While it was going on, you had these fools, these nuts running up and down the United States saying it was fake. First they're saying it was fake, then they're saying it was made in the lab. I don't give a damn. Let me tell you something. I don't give a damn if it was made in the McDonald's bathroom. Right. It's judgment from God. Who made crack? The angels? Right. Huh? Satan? Was he whipping the wrist in the fourth dimension? No. They put it in the minds of men to make these drugs that have destroyed us. Like I said, there's a spiritual reason behind most things, particularly major events that occur. And this is spiritual, man. Give me 2nd Ezra chapter 9. Let's start from verse 1. Keep reading in the article.
It says, at least, it says, survivors may of whom are homeless could face a secondary disaster as cold and snow led to worsening or horrific conditions, the World Health Organization said Thursday.
Someone else get me Ezekiel 33. I take not the pleasure of him that dieth. Keep reading.
Gone. At least 78,124 people were injured across both countries, according to authorities.
Horrible, man. Horrible. Mind you, Syria has been in a civil war since I was in middle school? So they're already reeling from a civil war, and now this earthquake comes. These nations, all these institutions that we've looked up to, these religions, these philosophy. Remember, both of these countries are controlled by who? Hakim, Allah. What happened to the God Allah? What happened to Mo's boss, Muhammad's boss? Muslims, black Muslims. Allah didn't save them from that damn earthquake, man. Those matchbox buildings got knocked the hell down. Why? Because it's God's judgment. God is not Allah. God is the living God, and Allah is just a damn rock. That rock in Mecca didn't do a damn thing to stop those damn earthquakes. Mecca's not that far. Why didn't Allah put up his holy Muslim force field, right? Crown Fried Chicken, a few cigarette stores to block the earthquake. Why didn't he do that? Because he's not real, man.
That's right.
Islam is a farce on a damn lie.
That's right.
The truth of the Bible, keeping these law, statutes, commandments has real effect in your life. And like the brother was bringing out before, it's going to be difficult. And there's going to be times when you don't want to continue, but Courage is determined not by how much strength you have, but courage is determined by going on when you have no strength. You get my point? And so doing those things will allow the Lord's blessing to come upon you, to put it in layman's terms. But you will be rewarded for the struggle that you undertake in here. All right. Read me my scripture, 2 Ezra 9.
The book of 2 Ezra, chapter 9, verse 1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself.
Measure thou the time diligently in itself. Know where you're at, man. Know what time it is. Do you know what time it is? Those of you in the world, we know what time it is here in the Isupk. You know what I mean? Measure the time. Understand what season you're in. It's the fourth quarter right now, man. It's the fourth quarter, damn near overtime in this world. Understand what time you're in. Continue.
And when thou seest part of the signs past,
right,
which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made.
Understand and know that when you see these signs, earthquakes, plagues, pestilences, new diseases coming out every day. Yeah, you get STDs now. You'll catch one of those STDs. You ain't getting rid of it, buddy. It's not going no goddamn where. They're looking at it under a microscope. They giving it penicillin under the microscope. The STD's growing arms and legs, and it's jumping the damn penicillin. Okay, beating up penicillin's getting shanked under a microscope. We can't do it. It's not working, Johnson.
Right.
Hurry up. We've got a new alternative lifestyle to push. You get my point? All of their ideologies are being proven to be a farce and a lie by these plagues that are coming and will continue to come here in this world. Continue.
Verse 3. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes.
Seen what?
Earthquakes.
What?
Seen earthquakes.
Seen earthquakes. That's one sign of the time that we're in. This is the time of the end, so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. This is the time of the end of our captivity, the time of the end of being ruled by our European slave masters, the time of the end of America, of Russia, of Ukraine. You see them fighting over there, duking it out. They got real quiet about Ukraine the last few months.
Right.
They were talking all that, SHIT, Ukraine's not going to lose. We send in this, we send in that. They sent all the reparations money over Ukraine.
Right.
All the reparation money to that short gay man Zelensky. They call him Man of the Year because he wears an olive green shirt. That's all you had to do. Wear an olive green shirt, you'll be considered a man. Matzaza. It's a damn joke. Okay, and they're over there running more dope and money than a Colombian city hall. So you can understand. They said over there in Ukraine, if the soldiers can't use the weapons, they can sell it on the open market. To who? Anybody. I am Akhmir. Wait, I am Igor. I'm not from Iran. I'm from Ukraine. See my papers? Selling to any damn body. And guess what's going to happen in 5 years? They're going to have another terrorist group. They're going to go. They're going to have to go to war against them. American troops going back. They just continue to make problems in this kingdom because this kingdom's over and their council is just being uprooted everywhere. Whatever they try to do is being found out later to be a bad move. You get my point? Right. And that's what's going on here with this war in Ukraine and Russia. Okay. Russia is going to stand strong, what have you, and they're going to rise, as it says in the scriptures. They're going to rise because the Lord is going to bring the Third World War to a climax here on this earth. Continue.
Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world.
Earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world. You saw those devils climb the walls of Capitol Hill, January 6th. Was it 2020, 2021, whenever it happened? All right. With a galley threatening to hang or to execute Mike Pence, taking a dump on Nancy Pelosi's desk, or was that AOC's desk? One of the two. Rifling through there, stealing. One of them stole a computer and sold it to some cat in Russia. Okay, showing you how disloyal these devils are to their own country. They tell you, if you don't like it here, go back to Africa. Right. Where in the hell in Africa are we going to go, dummy? They know people over in Europe. They have relatives, great whatever, that came from Estonia or Latvia or whatever. They all come here and say they're British. That's not true. They're from a lot of them are from Eastern Europe, from the woods, okay, or from a grotto in Italy. Even up until the last Great Migration. So-called Great Migration that these devils undertook, in the 1900s, what have you. Many of them lived in what was called a grotto, which was quite literally a hole in the ground. Go look it up. Dug a hole like a groundhog or something. Dug a hole and would live in a hole in the ground. They come over here and now they're looking down at you, making movies about you. Just sell it to the niggers. They're not people. Remember that? And was that Goodfellas? The Godfather, one of the two.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's what these people have done. That's why there's earthquakes and plagues and death and destruction all across this earth, because the Lord loves his people, blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans.
That's right.
Continue.
Come. Verse 4. Then shalt thou well understand.
Then thou shalt well understand. You need to understand. Viewing these earthquakes, one of which killed 20,000 people. Viewing plagues such as COVID-19, which in the United States killed well over 1 million people. Viewing monkeypox, etc. Viewing these things, you need to understand what time you're in. Continue.
Come, that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning.
He spoke of these things from the beginning. We have a book we can look into and see, okay, earthquakes happening now. What else is going to happen? Okay, this is going to happen. That's going to happen. That's going to happen. And we can go out in the streets of Arizona, of Canada, Brazil, Philadelphia, New Jersey, go out on the streets and warn our people of the impending destruction and tell the other nations of their impending destruction. That's our job as well, to tell the Turks and the Syrians that God caused that earthquake, man. And God's going to bring more earthquakes, more civil war, and finally World War III to that whole zone. That whole zone is about to get blown the hell up. Okay? They talk about pollution. That whole zone is going to be a hotbed of nuclear radiation, nuclear pollution, okay, and death and dead bodies. How do we know that? Because it's in the Bible.
Right.
Read on.
It's like, if I may, sir.
Go ahead.
When you think about the nuclear bomb that was dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, I'm sure I think it was like, what, 300,000 people in one of them, or 150,000?
Right. Somewhere it's tens of thousands at least.
Tens of thousands of people that have died in that one bomb. For 21,000 people to die in one earthquake, the Lord sets off 10 earthquakes, 20 earthquakes. I mean, it's like dropping a bomb. You know what I mean?
That's it, man. That's it. Not to mention the amount of fires you'd have over here in the United States if you had an earthquake of that magnitude. There's oil and gas pipelines running through the whole country. This country is a match waiting to be lit. Okay, it is the lake of fire that you read about in Revelations. Continue.
Come. Verse 5. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest.
Everything has a beginning and an end. We have a beginning and an end. You know, kingdoms have beginnings and an end. Rome had its beginning. Rome had its time of great strength and prosperity, and it fell. Chinese dynasties had their time, great prosperity, great strength. The Mongol Empire had their time, great prosperity, great strength, and they've all fallen. All things have a beginning and an end. Turkey had a beginning. The Ottoman Empire, much of the Arab world politically has been shaped by Turkey, by the people now known as the Turks, previously the people of the Ottoman Empire. They had a beginning. They were powerful. They conducted the slave trade on their own side of the world. There were so-called blacks that were shipped east as well, along with those that were shipped over here to the United States. You got slaves in Iran, India, etc., that they've been shipping. So they had a hand in slavery as well. They had a time where they were on top, time where they're in their strength, and now they're getting brought down low. Now they're running out of money.
It's like, if I may, sir, just so you're aware, there was a question that a sister had online.
I see. Hey, I see it.
Okay, so
let's
not to interrupt, but if you know.
Yeah, I appreciate you. Let's answer that question. Sister asked about Zechariah 1:18. What are horns? What are horns? Does it mean different nations and different cultures that people are idolizing, or the people that destroy Israel? Let's get Zechariah 1:18. Let me get there with you all. All right. Whoever has it can read it. I'm there now.
Come. The book of Zechariah, chapter 1, verse 18. Then lifted I up mine eyes, and saw, and behold, 4 horns. And I said unto the angel that talked with me, what be these? And he answered me, these are the horns which have scattered Judah, Israel, and Jerusalem.
Keep going.
Come. And Yahweh showed me 4 carpenters. Then I said, what come these to do? And he spake, saying, these are the horns which have scattered Judah. so that no man did lift up his head. But these are come to fray them, to cast out the horns of the Gentiles, which lifted up their horn over the land of Judah to scatter it.
Okay, let's read up from there. Let's go to verse 17. Zechariah 1 and 17. So she asked, does it mean different nations and different cultures, people are idolizing, or people that destroy Israel? These are four horns with scattered Judah. So he's talking about the Greeks. You remember with the Greeks, they had give me that in, was that Daniel 7? I think it's Daniel 7, where mentions the leopard with wings upon his back. He's talking about the Greek Empire. All right, to the sister's question. What was its name historically? The Macedonian Empire. Alexander. All right, you had Alexander answer the sister's question. You had Alexander, the so-called great. When he passed away, he split up his kingdom between 4 of his generals. All right, Cassander, Lysimachus. I could be pronouncing that wrong. Cassander, Lysimachus, Ptolemy, who was over Egypt, and you had Seleucid, which was over Syria in the Middle East, our land, a part of the land that was hit by that earthquake. All right, so those are the 4 horns that have scattered Judah. Give me the scripture in.
Daniel 7:4.
Yeah, you get hold Daniel 7 and 4. Get me Maccabees where it says they sold Judah into slavery. Sold Judah into slavery. Everyone bought of the Jews. Looking for it too. All right, if you have any more questions online, type your questions in. Again, it's Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, home of the truth. Isupk, Arizona, Priest Officer 5000 a bun. Here, holding down the rest of the class here in Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona. Thwada for having me. Do we find that scripture in Maccabees?
You said, what was the?
It's
I'm looking for. Okay.
Trade in Maccabees. Looking for it now. Someone else can look for it while we read Daniel. Let's get Daniel 7 while that's being found.
Can you know how to paraphrase?
Yeah, I'm paraphrasing it now, but I'm not able to find it. It's
I have the
everyone
beginning of it, if I may.
Go ahead.
First Maccabees chapter 1 verse 6. Wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable, and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them, while he was yet alive.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that it doesn't talk about the 4.
Yeah, the 4 is in Daniel. I know where that is.
Okay.
But there's a precept in the Maccabees while one of the 4 was around, we were being sold into slavery. All right. Go to first. Let's go to First Maccabees 10 and 33. There's a more direct one. Let's go to First Maccabees 10 and 33. Let's read Daniel. Daniel now. All right, read.
Book of Daniel, chapter 7, verse 3. And 4 great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another.
Mm-hmm.
The first was like a lion and had eagle's wings.
Skip down to 6. Verse 6.
After this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl.
4 wings of a fowl. All right, read on.
The beast had also 4 heads,
Mm-hmm.
and dominion was given to it. After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a 4th beast, dreadful.
Drop that. That's it. So the leopard, that's what it's speaking about here in Zechariah. The Greeks were one of the last kingdoms to have us in captivity and to enslave us and to scatter us. Do you have the scripture in Maccabees?
Come. The book of First Maccabees, chapter 10, verse 33. Moreover, I freely set at liberty every one of the Jews that were carried captives out of the land of Judea.
Carried captives out of the land of Judea by one of the 4 horns, by one of the 4 generals to come out of the Greek Empire, the Macedonian Empire. Again, it's Cassander, Lysimachus, Ptolemy, and Seleucid. Those are the four horns that scattered Judah in Zechariah. All right. Any other questions online? Type your questions in. You have the privilege of hearing this class. Smash the like button. This class is sponsored by the like button. The class is also sponsored by the share button. Share everywhere. We're live on YouTube. We're live on Facebook as well. Live on Facebook. Live on Facebook. Live on YouTube. If you're in the Phoenix area, if you're in the Arizona area, make sure you check out Isupk Phoenix. Contact the brothers here. Find our number. Contact on Facebook, on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, what have you, and get in touch with the brothers here in Phoenix, Arizona, if you're in this area. All right. Let's get back to it. Where are we at in the second Esdras 9, right? Second Esdras 9. All right.
Kawakhan. The book of Second Esdras, chapter 9, and verse. Let's see, the second Esdras, chapter 9, and verse. We at 8.
You can go from 6.
Or 6. Kawakhan.
Mm-hmm.
The book of Second Esdras, chapter 9, verse 6. Even so, the times also of the highest have plain beginnings, in wonders and powerful works, in endings, in effects and signs.
The endings of the Most High's works are shown in effects and signs. There's clues, very, very, very easy to see, easy to view clues on the ends of kingdoms, the ends of societies. One of that is the fact that none of them like each other, which is like the case here in America, which was prophesied, all right, in the book of Daniel as well. Right. The toes of the image that Daniel saw in Daniel, the second chapter, was part iron and part clay, all right? And the breakdown for that is this, that they would mingle themselves among the seed of men. It would be multicultural. And having a multicultural society makes your society inherently weak. Go check the crime rate in Japan. Go check it. Right now, they have drive-by shootings in Japan. They have gang wars in Japan. No, they don't. You know why? Because Japan, along with Asia, is some of the most racially homogenous societies on the planet Earth. And crime is like, you want to go out and sell drugs in Japan, you'd be disowned by your family. You wanted to become a part of some criminal organization, you'd be disowned by your family. But you're not disowned here. You know why? You're celebrated here. You know why? Because there's so many different people. The Italians, the Irish, right? The so-called Jews, right? Us. So many different nations of people here that everyone's practices get put into a melting pot. Combine that with the founding of America, which was founded by criminals, okay? You want to talk about Crips and Bloods? Nobody's spilled more red. Nobody's more of a blood than the goddamn U.S. Cavalry, man. That's you right. Walking around on the bones of the Native American Indians, and in reality, you in northern Mexico, okay? This should be northwestern Mexico right now. I should be speaking Spanish. All right, you should be having birria and tamales after this goddamn class, man. Right. This is Mexico's land. Right. The so-called white man. I read about that learned about the Spanish-American War, and it was classic Esau. They baited them. I'm sure you all know the history, but they baited Mexico to fire on them, and they walked all the way to Mexico City and gave the Mexicans, all right, you're going to clean for us for the next 500 years, and you're going to give us this part of the United States. That's pretty much how it went. Tell me I'm lying. That's not politically correct. You're going to pick our oranges. You're going to pick our potatoes for Frito-Lay, and that's it. You're going to be happy with it. We'll give you East Los Angeles, make it a hellhole, but you can have it. Right. Sign this piece of paper. And pretty much did it at gunpoint. That's not politically correct, but tell me how else it happened. Right. We see the state of the Mexicans here in their own land, the state of the Native Americans in their own land. That's what happened here. And that's why we were destroyed, and that's why this place is being visited. They stole and pillaged and rifled this whole land from the so-called Mexicans and the Native Americans who have been living here harmoniously since the time of the Aztecs, since the time of the Incas, even further south. You know what I mean? The Incas traveled up to Iowa. Not the Incas, it was one of those two, the Aztecs and the Incas. It was the Aztecs and the Maya would travel all the way up to Iowa. What would they do up here? Would they have shootouts, gang fights, MS-13 versus 18th Street? No. They're having cookouts, barbecues, right, getting together, trading, that's right, talking, at peace with each other until the Spaniards came. All right, go ahead. In the back, you something?
I have a question in the chapter we're in.
Yeah, please.
Okay. It says, everyone, it says, I'll start at 9. Even so we're in 2nd Esdras 96. Mm-hmm. Even so, the times also of the highest have plain beginnings and wonders. Like verse 7. And everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith, whereby ye have believed, verse 8, shall be preserved from the said perils and shall see my salvation in my land and within my borders. For I have sanctified them for me from the beginning. The ones who he sanctified, is that only talking about the 144? Or is it talking about the 144 and the, I think it's the 2/3?
Well, it was prophesied to be the 1/3. Yeah.
Right.
It's talking about all of them.
So the 144 and the others.
Everyone that's going to be delivered from here. Yeah, that's what it's talking about. Why? Because they're being delivered from these perils. The people that make it into the kingdom of heaven, the people that get onto the chariots are going to be delivered from the said perils. What's the said perils? Continuing earthquakes, death, destruction, and finally, thermonuclear destruction. And war and death that you can't quite imagine. Okay, the level of death that's going to happen here on this earth. Excuse me, when the angels return. They'll be delivered from those perils. That's who it's talking about, all right? 144,000 are going to be in charge of the people that make it out of here, out of every kindred, nation, and tongue. What does that mean? Chinese people? No. People in those lands that are Israelites, blacks, so-called blacks, Latinos, and natives, carried up onto the ship and delivered out of here. All right? So that's the answer to that question.
Like I was just looking at the crime rate between U.S.
Come on, say it. Please say it. Please.
Man, it
blows your mind, doesn't it?
So U.S. crime rate from 2020 was 6.52, a 28.64. So I get increase from 2019, and then compared to China, it was a 0.04 decline from 2019.
So go ahead.
So it was like America went up and China went down. It's like it's just crazy,
right? Because they have much less crime than we do. Why do they have much less crime than we do? Because they've been taught to see Chinese people as human beings. We've been taught to see other Mexicans with different colors, or so-called blacks with different colors. He's wearing red, or he's from Hoover, and I'm from, Grape Street, or what have you. We've been taught to see each other as non-human. You get my point? In Brazil, if he's not was it PFK, or he's not Comando Vermelho, he's not of the Red Command, he's getting killed if he's over here. We've been trained to see each other as animals. You get my point? A woman you see, she's good for nothing but, 15 minutes and $40. Shalaki, I don't need to get into detail, but, we're all men here. You understand what that means? We've been trained to see each other as animals. Why? Because if you're going to bring in 10 and 15 and 20 different nations, you need people to pick oranges. You know what I mean? You need maids. You need people to sweep down the Staples Center and mop the Staples Center. People to stand at the concession stand and sell hot dogs. You need people on the streets of Los Angeles to sell mangoes with chili. You know what I mean? Chili sauce on it or what have you. You need poor people in any society, in a society that wants to dominate the world like America. And so what do? You have these nations that you bring in. Some of them you let go to the top. You give them grants, right? You let their businesses thrive and flourish. You don't lynch them and burn crosses in their yard and run them from Arkansas to Southern California and then, destroy them in Southern California. You don't run down to Mexico City and point a gun at their head and say, you're going to give us Arizona or we're going to take all of Mexico. Some you don't do that to. But then there's some, you make Northwest Mexico, what is actually Northwest Mexico, you make that Arizona and New Mexico, in Texas or what have you, California. And all the Colorado, Wyoming, all of that, So the problem with having a multicultural society, and the reason why there's so much crime here, is that there's some people that have to be at the bottom of the barrel, the bottom of that melting pot, and that's who we are. And so to be at the bottom of the melting pot, we have to do bottomly things. We'll be low down, dirty people. And so that's why this sort of thing is pushed. Like General Hyman always brings out, you would think murder is legal, selling drugs is legal. Being a pimp, being a prostitute, you would think those things are legal across the United States, but they're not. But it's being pushed among us, among our people, heavily. You listen to country western, listen to classic rock. They're not saying the same things that are being said over the radio. Go ahead.
That was about it.
That was about it. All right, let's go to 2nd Esdras. Where we at? 9 and 9. Yeah, let's go to 7. We answered it, but let's read through it.
the book of 2 Ezra, chapter 9, verse 7. And every one that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith, whereby ye have believed.
Yeah. Everyone shall escape by his works, not by the blood of Jesus. I don't know what that is. He died 2,000 years ago. I don't know where you're going to find his blood, but by your works you'll be saved. What works? Keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments, doing what God said to do. All right, not eating pork, crab, shrimp, and lobster. All right, not taking part in what's that holiday? Simps Day, aka Valentine's Day.
Right.
To figure out how to lead your woman and get her a gift when she deserves a gift. So you're just going to sit and wait. All right, Jorge, time to get Consuela a gift. Okay, you go run and get her a gift. She could be the dragon of goddamn Revelations right here. Okay, she could be goddamn, Russia and invade and you Ukraine invading your damn space.
That's right.
In your ear every day. You trying to have a beer after a hard day's week. She's in your ear every day. Nagging. You're going to get her a gift. It's negative reinforcement and negative feedback loop. Valentine's Day is Simps Day, and only a fool celebrates it. Do we get our women gifts in here? Hell yes, we do. The flowers, the chocolates, right? And stuff women like. We get it for them in here in the Isupk. Now, if you would hear from people on the outside, I'm jumping here to another topic. If you would hear it from people on the outside, you would think we have women chained to a basement. When that's not true. Christians have women chained to basements. How do I know? Ted Bundy, John Wayne Gacy. Right. Christians do it. The Catholic Church. Go check their sexual history, their rap record. Okay, calling us a damn sex cult. So lock you. Okay, it's a damn shame. It's a damn shame. We need some scriptures on that since I just talked about Valentine's Day. Now we've got to do it. I've spoken it into existence. Isn't that what they say in the world? Cool. So now we've got to let's go into it. Let's go on to Simps Day. Let me get a gift destroyeth the heart. Let's get that. Let's get a gift destroyeth the heart. Let's get sweet language multiply friends, or pleasant tongue. Let's get that as well. Look these up. 1 second. Get me open rebuke is better than secret love. All right. I'm gonna look these up. I'm assuming no one's looking these up right now. Hold on. Open rebuke. Proverbs 25 and Proverbs 27 and 5. What's your name, brother? Stand up right here. Razan. Get me Proverbs 27 and 5, Babu Kusha. All right. A gift destroyeth the heart. Gift destroyeth the heart. Which is Ecclesiastes 7 and 7. All right. Husband and wife that dwell together. That is not 1 Peter. Start there. Give me Proverbs 27 and 5. When you have it, you can read it.
Okay. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 27, verse 5. Open rebuke is better than secret love.
Open rebuke is better than secret love. It's better to check a woman openly, rebuke her openly and promptly than showing you love her secretly. How is Valentine's Day secret love? Because by the way, I was going to say it. By the way, many of you, particularly those of you in the world, by the way, you treat your women, you would think you hate them, man. If you subjected a woman to a threesome, you hate that woman, and that woman does not like that, brothers in the world. They do not enjoy it. They're doing it because they think that's what men like. That's the only reason that they're into that, or they believe they're into that, as is the case with much of women's sexual taste. Much of women's sexual taste, Akim, is simply what the last man did. It's really all it is, to sum it up in a nutshell, okay? Or it stems from their first few sexual encounters. That's what it is. So all of this nonsense that's going on with women, and they said talking about the modern woman running up and down the streets, running up and down social media, a lot of that has to do with how we as men are conducting ourselves. You know what I mean? Read the scripture again.
Book of Proverbs, chapter 27, verse 5.
Mhm.
Open rebuke is better than secret love.
Yeah, why is this nonsense with women being pushed and allowed? Because we're allowing it. Okay, straight up and down. It's being allowed. It's being tolerated. Open rebuke is better than secret love. It's better to rebuke her openly, all right, promptly, than to show her you love her secretly. How is it secret? Because you letting her do things to destroy herself, right? By engaging in threesomes, by allowing her to go out. You as a man, I don't understand how you let your woman go see other people. I'm hearing about that too going on. Will the brother in the world have a woman having sex with her, but knows that she has a boyfriend or is with someone else, and he's just a man on the roster? I'm not on a goddamn roster, love. You know what I mean? I ain't competing with nobody. If there's a line that I gotta get to, then I am out, because why would you think you compare to someone else? And why would you want to share something that someone else? Why would you want to share another man's field? Pause. I'll just stop it. I'll just stop it there. Razan, pause. It's super rainbow, right? Taste the taste in the rainbow, brother. I don't understand how that's done. That's secret love. You buying her gifts and all that, but you allowing her to destroy herself. Open rebuke is better than secret love. Hey, listen, are you single? That's a gray area. I'm dropping a little bit of game here, but that whole "are you single?" good, but then you ask them directly, "Are you having sex?" That's what you have to ask women in the world. Just go straight there. Go nuclear. You talk, whatever. How you doing? Are you having sex? Okay, because what they consider relationships. This is all in the context of Valentine's Day. Men and women's relationships. What they consider relationships is some sort of pie in the sky. Highly pressurized carbon that they call diamond. You got to pull those out in the ground, even though diamonds are everywhere. They're not a diamond dozen. It's a marketing ploy. All right, it's not rare. Okay, diamond, and of course the slave master's piece of paper. That makes it all. That puts it all together. That makes her loyal. It doesn't. It doesn't mean anything at all. Go ahead.
Khan, what you bring out is so heavy. I just remember listening to a song by Lil Baby he released not too long ago about his love for this woman.
Right.
But he said this in the lyrics right here. He said, "I know you miss a nigga, especially how I kiss it. Message say delivered. Why the F keep on missing on me? Every time he back in the picture, you act different on me." Like, and what came to my mind, sir, is that this spirit that has come upon brothers, that they're willing to share a woman and a sister, is the spirit that we pray our women can have. That they would be willing to share their man with another woman because they love him so much. But now we have our men rapping and bragging that they're going to share their woman with another man because she can't, Salaki, sir.
Yeah, I mean, getting a woman to agree with that is not. That wouldn't be first my priority. It's just telling her this is what I do. If you don't like it, there's the door. Right. I'm captain of the ship. I got the big mast. I'm whipping that goddamn thing over here. I want to go over here. There's some fish there. Land ho. There's some island here. Okay, want to get some coconuts. Want to stop for some coconuts. I'm the captain of the ship. If she is looking at the waves and saying, "Oh my God, we're in the ocean," getting seasick, go ahead and jump off.
Right.
That's it. That's where I would go with that. Getting a woman to agree on something like that is they're factory code. It's hard coded for them to be jealous. Right. So what I'm saying is you're going to have that battle. Right. It's going to be a battle. But what I would do is just say, look, this is how I operate. If you don't like it, that's fine. It's a free country. You're not in prison. You know what I mean? I don't have to be here at all. It's not a big deal. Someone else give me Ecclesiastic Cuss 36 and 24. All right, go ahead.
Question on that. So what is it that happened to a man to get to that point to where he's willing to accept? You see what I'm saying? Like, as opposed to a woman that would accept it, which is hard for that to happen even in itself.
Okay, it takes starting on it from a good place. Meaning this, from the beginning, you want to make it known to her that.
No, I'm saying, how did this brother get to this point to say that in the song? I'm a scientist. I want to do some research on that in human psychology. That's a little, it's men's lust. You know my point. Women
desire power, desire to be as God or goddesses, right? This is the problem with Eve. The serpent got Eve through what? Power. You will be as a god, which means what? You'll be over that other guy. Is that what they say? You don't need a man, you're strong and they're doing the same. It's the same remix. It's a remix from the serpent. They're doing the same thing with so-called Black, Latina, and First Nation women over here on this side. Okay. It's just that what it is, what it gets a man to that level is just a love for whores. A sister put it in the chat, whoremongers. It's just you love whores so much that you're willing to put up with whatever they do. Now she's setting the tone for little baby's relationship. Mind you, this is a little baby. This dude's he can pull up here in Phoenix and there'll be a line of women just saying, hey, I do this, I do that, I cook, I clean, I do everything in between. You know what I mean? The sisters will say that to him. But he's writing a song about dealing with a woman who deals with other men because that's what he likes, that's what he prefers. You get my point? And so it's just he allows it. And that, as a man, you have to understand that okay, a woman's behavior, etc., it only goes as far as you allow. You know what I mean? There's certain things she knows she can do and get away with, and there's certain things that she knows she can't get away with. You as a man have to establish what it is that can be done and what it is that can't be done. And it takes time and it takes continual defense against. You get my point? Not, screaming and yelling, just firmly saying, no, do this, do that, do this, that, and the third. Don't do this. We don't do that. You want to do this, hop off the boat. Right? Didn't take chocolate and flowers. Yeah, I'm in here tearing the school up. Salakia. School gonna be the building gonna be upside down when I leave. Salakia. All right. Ecclesiasticus 36 and 24. All right. Valentine's Day, aka Simps Day. You cannot buy. That's another thing too. You can't buy attraction or love from a woman. Buying the gifts and the flowers, while it is important, it's important in any relationship. You have kids. If the kids perform well, they get good grades. If they satisfy you in some way as a parent, if they please you in their behavior, what have you, get them a gift. You like, the video game, get them a video game, basketball, court, whatever. The same goes for a woman in a relationship. But to think you can buy love and get her back with chocolate and flowers is asinine, and it's insane. Attraction and desire from a woman, it's not something that you can negotiate. For whatever reason, the Catholic Church, because they're a homosexual or gay organization, they go through things. They teach people to go through things with women, go about dealing with women in the wrong way. She'll love you when you get on a knee and you hand her a ring. When that doesn't work. On February 14th or 15th, whenever the hell Valentine's Day is, you buy her chocolate and flowers when statistically that it doesn't stop them from cheating or running off on you. So what the hell is the goddamn point of the chocolate? Save your money, Akim. Chocolate can be had every day of the year. Chocolate is delicious if you like chocolate. Right. Flowers to a woman are excellent if you like giving flowers to your woman. But giving it to her just because really another man is saying this is the day you give it to her is terrible advice for relationships in general, right? Because each situation is different. She might not deserve flowers any day of the year. To hell with February 15th. You know what I mean? Chocolates any day of the year. Right. Some of you, like little baby, you need to leave the woman the hell alone. Right. Okay? Because she's got more men. The Ukraine has soldiers. Whole companies, platoons, Kasar Pakad. Reinforcements, replacements, right. Ashkawar. She got strings, rosters, third string, second string. Okay? Midfielder. Some Iskrites in here, so I don't know much about soccer, but I use some soccer analogies. Middies, goalies. Right. Okay. Free agents. There's even some free agents over there. Okay. He performed well enough, he might get a chance. He got free agents too now. It's a joke, man. Valentine's Day is a joke. I'm saying these things in this way to show you the idiocy of Valentine's Day. Right. Ecclesiasticus 36 and 24.
The book of Ecclesiasticus. Chapter 36 and verse 24. He that getteth a wife beginneth a possession.
Beginneth a possession. If you get a possession, you get a new car, you get a new field, you got upkeep. And with women, their upkeep isn't, you're not taking a hoe, no pun intended. You're not taking a hoe and digging the ground. You're not taking a shovel, digging the ground. You had a field, right? You were growing cactus on that field. You're growing agave to make that delicious tequila, not declared tequila. Me and Jose Cuervo about to go to council a few Passovers ago. I don't know who Jose Cuervo is, but I was about to call Mexico school and bring him to council. What is that clear tequila? But once you have that clear tequila, and I am out of here, Salaki, with massive headaches. With the brown tequila is good to go. But me and Jose Cuervo, we've got to have a talk. We're gonna have to talk with the brother soon. Mexico gets more soldiers. Hopefully he'll come into the school. All right. Joking, of course, but in any event, if you got agave to grow, to make tequila, you're gonna till the field, you're gonna water. With a woman, it's your upkeep you have to have, emotional upkeep. Let them talk for a little bit, different things like that. Of course, I'm speaking generally, I'm speaking simplistically, but there's upkeep that has to be had. You know what I mean? You get a possession. The possession, there's upkeep, there's monitoring and things like that. You're in charge of the relationship as a man. Go ahead.
He that getteth a wife begetteth a possession, a help like unto himself.
A help, not a boss. A help, right? It's Valentine's Day, honey. You know what to do. Chop chop. What the hell are you talking? What? You're not getting nothing. I'm not buying you stuff on Valentine's Day because I don't believe in that S. I don't believe in that nonsense. Firstly. Secondly, I'll give you gifts when you earn them. Whatever happened to making someone earn something?
Right.
In this world, it's taught everyone's number one. You're okay no matter who you are. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter your sexuality or whatever. You are all accepted. That's another cancer in this place. That everybody gets a first place trophy. That's not how it works. There's winners and losers. And as a woman, if you do not want to be a loser, there's certain things you need to do in a relationship. But what is Valentine's Day taught? Again, there's nothing in Valentine's Day that says, maybe you should stop nagging him so much. Maybe as a man, you shouldn't let her engage in threesomes. Yeah, you found her, Salakia. Some of these women out here are rough cases. Yeah, you found her. And she was as fast as a Porsche Panamera GT, right? Running the streets. So run her a track star, 100-meter dash, brother. 100-meter dash in the Olympics, Amataza. Fast. You found her that way, but you can't, allow her to continue to destroy herself, right? Because there's diseases you'll catch now that are named after primates, the monkeypox. You get a strange taste for bananas, Razan. Grow hair everywhere. I'm joking, of course. AIDS, gonorrhea. They got gonorrhea now. It doesn't give a damn about penicillin. Give it some penicillin if you want. It'll crip walk on that penicillin and then stab it.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Doesn't give a damn about penicillin. Read on.
And a pillar of rest.
And a pillar of rest. That's what you get when you get a wife. A pillar of rest. There's jobs and functions and duties of a woman in a relationship that they need to undertake if they are to earn these gifts that no one in society is mentioning. Everyone in society is mentioning what a man has to do, what a man should do, etc., etc. And here's my take on it. Men are doing that primarily. Financial, take care of the house. Be a man, have a kid, and say, I'm not taking care of the kid. Where can she go to get help? She can go to the government. Tell the government who you are, and the government is going to tell you to make payments on that child. Not taking care of finances. Even still to this day, it's being said by lawyers, etc., that men are still the breadwinners, if you will, or men are still earning and still working, what have you. Everyone, men across America at least, are being told what it is they have to do, what they have to work on, but no one is telling a woman how it is she should operate, which is why we're hated. We're hated because we tell women in the world the one thing, and women in general, the one thing they don't want to hear, and that is how they need to operate. Giving them options, Akim, that's all. There's a way you can act. There's a way to act if you want things to go well. If you don't want them to go well and you want them to keep failing, you continue to act. So, yeah, Bashim Shabbat. You want the class?
No, you got it.
No, there's a way you can act. You know what I mean? Go ahead. Get your hand raised.
If I could, sir, you know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, like it like for blacks and for Hispanics, right? What we do is like we give it like almost like an okay to have what we call toxica. I don't know if and any brother knows the word toxica means toxic. in
Toxic.
Spanish.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So that's like a name that you would give a woman that's like very toxic, but you hear that all throughout, you know what I'm saying, social media, oh, la toxica, oh, she's toxic. And men are okay with that, you know what I'm saying? And men don't really check a female when she's that, she is that, you know what I'm saying, toxic. You know what I'm saying? But nobody, like, you know what I'm saying? It's almost like kind of like promoted. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like promoted where a brother would ask his homeboy, like, you know what I'm saying, hey, you want a beer? And then he looks at his wife. He doesn't even say nothing. He just looks at his wife, and his wife gives him a look. He's like, no, I can't. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like stuff like that where it's like you let your woman rule instead of, you know what I'm saying, you ruling over your woman. And in that sense, it's like you don't got that pillar of rest, which is what we're reading here. You know what I'm saying? You don't get no rest. Anywhere a black man goes, you don't get no rest. You don't get no rest in slavery. You don't get rest outside, you know what I'm saying, outside of your house and inside of your house. So it's like, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So like the government, the way to govern your household is all torn apart because of, you know what I'm saying, you don't have that, you know what I'm saying, foundation, you know what I'm saying, which is the Bible.
And you're not gonna, you as a man, here's the deeper thing about that too, pushing these sort of these half-baked relationships. You as a man aren't gonna have the energy to go and get other people off drugs. Community, what goddamn community?
Right.
I work here, go here, and go to war. I got 1 8-hour job, then I got a 4-hour job when I come home, and that's arguing with the goddamn missus, fighting up and down the streets, following her around, making sure she doesn't cheat on you, checking her phone, all this other stuff. That is being pushed on purpose. Here's what I will say about it: that is being pushed on purpose to distract you. You're not going to be in here. Why? Because you can be in some one floor house in Phoenix, Arizona, arguing with a dragon that does not give a damn about you. It's designed to distract men, distract them from what? The things that matter here. That's why everything else is being pushed. Dope, this, that, selling drugs, being with the homies, doing all manner of to keep us at the bottom. There's money made in no Black or Hispanic community. There's money made in fatherless homes, counseling, therapy. They know, here's another thing that they're not talking about. They know that when a single mom who has kids gets into another relationship with a man, that man is far more likely to molest those kids. This is known. If I can research it, if I can look it up, psychologists can look it up too. You know what I mean? There's money in chaos, as they say. That's a saying from a Greek philosopher. I forget the name, Roman philosopher, what have you. There's money in chaos. So this sort of half-baked relationships with, Valentine's Day to patch it up is a temporary fix. The relationships failing are in the Bible. Your relationships fail because you're cursed by God. Let me get that in Deuteronomy 28:54. Here's why relationships are cursed. Here's why. The spiritual reason, as I said before, everything has a spiritual motive or a spiritual backdrop to it. Here's the spiritual backdrop to why many of our relationships have failed. It is the curses of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, which is the source really of all of our problems here in life. Our problems in life are summarized by one thing: by lack of adherence to God's commandments, law, statutes, and commandments in the Bible. One of them is that there would be enmity or odds between men and women amongst Blacks, Latinos, and Natives. Give me Deuteronomy 28:54.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 54. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil toward his brother.
The man that's tender among you and very delicate, meaning what? The young man, right? The young man that will be kind to his people, would defend his people, defend his brothers. His eyes should be evil toward his brothers. Whatever he has, I'm trying to steal it, I'm trying to finesse him, extort him, take his woman, send a woman on him. That's another thing happens a lot too. A lot of these women, again, which shows the hypocrisy of this whole feminism movement. I'm strong and independent, but the homies can go run you over to somebody else, to the op, to go get him killed. That happens all the time. But you strong and independent. You're a woman. You are led about by men. That puts that whole argument in the wash. All right. Why is that happening? Because a man's eye shall be evil towards his brother. Why is a man's eye evil towards his brother? Because we've broken the law, statutes, and commandments of God. Read on.
And toward the wife of his bosom.
And his eyes evil toward the wife of his bosom. Yeah, let's have it. Let's have the threesome. It ain't fun unless the homies had some. Boy, there's some things that need to be left in the 90s, Kasar. That's one of them. That needs to be left in the 90s, along with those brightly colored outfits. No disrespect to the tribe of Benjamin or those of you that like gaudy colored outfits, but my point is 40s. My point is certain things that need to be left in the past. And whoever coined "it ain't fun unless the homies have some," that needs to be left in the grave.
That's right.
All right. A man his eye shall be evil toward the wife of his bosom. Yeah, do this. You got a woman, she's a goddamn stripper, and you're not telling her, no, that ain't happening. You're not doing that. Okay? That's destructive. You are objective. Why objectify yourself? I hear that all the time as well on the internet. Women objectifying themselves. Yet they're promoting OnlyFans, which is essentially amateur pornography. Someone's got to explain to me how digital prostitution. Someone needs to explain to me how that's not exactly what that is.
Right.
You hate a woman if you promote that. Straight up hate a woman if you promote that. Why? Because that's not the hallmark of being what a woman is. Imagine if the most important thing about a man was us showing our rods off and having a rod contest, Salaki for the vulgarity. That would be insane, right? No, some of us are carpenters, some of us are presidents, some of us are CEOs. You get my point? Amongst men, there's hierarchy, and there are ways and metrics that we measure ourselves that aren't based on our bodies. With women, they sell women so cheap. What is her calling card? Her body. That's it. She got a fatty, which it's a dime a dozen, right? Get them on the good exercise program. Red beans and rice, right? No pork. Red beans and rice, no pork. Fried chicken, all right? Or burritos, tamales, right? Some horchata for the extra calories, liquid calories, drinking the calories, adds more fat in the right places. I think that's my point is that's a dime a dozen. But righteousness, femininity, sincerity, quietness when it's warranted, and being a pillar of rest. Those are the hallmarks, the calling cards of femininity, and society is slowly catching up. Another thing I'm seeing on the internet is more and more men are beginning to say, the hell with all this. I want, something with a big ass. Salakia. Can you cook? What can you bring to the table? I'm hearing more of that. More speech that is really aligned with what we say, which is where it's going to come. It's going to come full circle. Jake's slowly walking around he's slowly waking up and smelling the coffee and thinking, I don't have to put up with this. Why am I doing this? Why am I get with a woman who I can have a threesome with and then expecting the relationship to go well? No, I should want these things from a woman. Can she cook? Can she clean? Is she going to be a good mother to my children? I'm hearing that more and more, man. More and more. What's going to make that increase exponentially or go faster, if you will, what's going to make our relationships better is to throw away Valentine's Day. Throw Valentine's Day the hell away, man. It's a negative feedback loop for Black, Latina, and First Nation women. And bad behavior should not be tolerated. It shouldn't be tolerated from us. I wouldn't get a rank raise or this, that, or the third if I was being an asshole in the streets of Phoenix. You know what I mean? Or Canada, or Brazil. I shouldn't. I should be checked. And as a man, I would expect to be checked. But in society, as a woman, they are expected to be celebrated, which is a terrible thing to women, man. A terrible thing to women, even if many of them don't see it. But we see it here. We are the rulers of so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans under the one the world calls Jesus Christ, Yahweh Shai in the Hebrew. All right, it's 9:18. All right, I'm gonna wrap the class up there. How do you guys typically wrap the class up? There's announcements. All right. With that, I pass the class over to Priest Officer Razan. Water family. Turn the camera.
There's the Isupk security announcements. There's the Isupk started at 1 West on 25th Street, Harlem, New York. New rule for new brother and sister. The new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. They need transportation. The teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to feet to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. Numbers 18:21, Malachi 3:8-10, means tenth in the Hebrew, ma'ashra. Tenth of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for the priest, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you will like. Upcoming holy convocations, March. So March next month, the 5th and the 6th, we got the Feast of Purim. Right, gonna be held here at the school. Have food, have a good time. We're in the Phoenix area to come out. And also coming up in April 1st, the Lord's Passover, the 54th annual Lord's Passover. I said make sure you get your fee in, $200 for every adult. I said it'll be in Raleigh, North Carolina. I said it's gonna be a good time. The itinerary is all over through Facebook and Twitter. Everything that they got going down for that week. So come out, you Black, Hispanic, Native American. Come out, have a good time with us on these upcoming days. All right, and if anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, to start wearing all black. That's boots, shirt, pants, headbands, and scarf. With that, we'll give one courtesy salute to the teacher, men of Israel, Maju. Maju Shabbat, Maju, Barak, Yahweh Shem Yahshua Barakatah.
Yahweh Shem Yahshua Barakatah.
Yahya Matah, class dismissed.
Water again, I think.
Is it?